For this life I have to live. Oh, and I am so grateful for all I have to give. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. I am so grateful, for I know my path is blessed by love, so full and graceful. I can trust in every step, for I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. In a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. True never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. I am so grateful for this life I have to live. Oh, and I am so grateful for all I have to give. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. I can trust in every step. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. In a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. In a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. I am so grateful for this life I have to live. Oh, and I am so grateful for all I have to give. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. I am so grateful, for I know my path is blessed by love, so full and graceful. I can trust in every step. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. I am so grateful for this life I have to live. Oh, and I am so grateful for all I have to give. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. I am so grateful, for I know my path is blessed by love, so full and graceful, I can trust in every step. For I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, in a true never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love. Yes, I live in a world never-ending source from above. Yes, I live in a world of abundance, with a life overflowing and a heart full of love.
That was really beautiful. Really beautiful. Good morning. Welcome to our Sunday celebration. As our vision states, together we are building inclusive community through spiritual connection. My name is B. Amon James, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees and the music director here at Columbia Center for Spiritual Living. Before we start, we would greatly appreciate it if you would share this live stream to help us spread our message. I'll pause for you to do this now. Wonderful. At Columbia CSL, we live the truth of who we are by opening hearts, inspiring lives, and celebrating oneness. We are a welcoming, loving, diverse spiritual community that practices the principles of science of mind. Our mission states, we foster spiritual growth by caring for each other and being of service to our communities. We create spaces for transformation and belonging through spiritual practice, education, and self-expression. So, I invite you now to set an intention for this week. Okay. Think about what you are going to create this week. Set it in your mind. Okay, now take a deep breath and allow yourself to sink into the feeling of that intention right now as you open to receive Spirit's guidance throughout our time together. It's going to be a great week. We have a saying here, singing or listening to music is like praying twice. So we begin each service with a song. We are now going to have a musical selection by the artist Lynn Hollyfield, accompanied by our friend Leah Morris. And the song is Just Begin.
When you're feeling lost or a little blue and the world around isn't what you used to, you are all sad. Now life shakes that dream, paints an illusion. What does it all mean? Take a deep breath. Now it's a start. Take a leap of faith from your weary heart. Pull out your colors from deep within. An old seed planted, now a flower blossoming. You thought the days ahead would be a little lighter. You thought your steps would have taken you farther. Wherever you are, it's where you need to be. Like in the night, dawn's around the corner, dark in the light. I'll teach you to be stronger. Wherever you are, it's where you need to be. Don't worry what's been, just begin. Pull out your colors. You might think they're dim, what's right before your eyes. It's your masterpiece with no disguises. You thought the days ahead would be a little lighter. You thought your steps would have taken you farther. Wherever you are, it's where you need to be. Like in the night, dawn's around the corner, darkened light helps teach you to be stronger. Wherever you are, it's where you need to be. Don't worry what's been. Don't worry, look within. Don't worry where you've been. Just begin.
Wow. Just begin. Thank you, Lynn and Leah and the other young lady for that beautiful song. If this is your first time experiencing Columbia Center for Spiritual Living, we welcome you and thank you for joining us today. We want you to know that no matter who you are or whatever your spiritual path, you are welcome here. We invite you to visit our website at columbiacsl.com to learn more about our spiritual community. You can replay past services and find articles and other resources. And please check out the calendar on our website for events and opportunities to gather with our community. You know, exciting things are happening here at Columbia CSL. Today at 12:30, we are gathering for music and mayhem for our annual summer celebration. Join us at our office location where dessert, snacks, and beverages, along with games and our own DJ Angela, will keep the party rolling. Come on, y'all. Tomorrow, Monday evening at 7 p.m. is our Science of Mind magazine group, hosted by Jody Davidson. Join us for insightful discussion and joyful connection. This Tuesday evening at 7 p.m., we are hosting our monthly town hall community meeting. This is a time for open discussion on important issues within our center, along with an opportunity to experience the power in community spiritual practice. On Wednesday night at 7 p.m., Rebecca Bell hosts Racial Literacy, providing us as individuals and as a community the opportunity to open our minds and hearts and take actionable steps towards what is ours to do in creating a more inclusive and equitable world. We have 2 upcoming workshops this month. Dr. Nadene will be facilitating the last in her Conscious Transition Workshop series. It is entitled Dissolving Our Defenses on Sunday, August 15th. And on August 22nd, Reverend Faith Woods will be offering a workshop entitled Imagination in Action. So please, check out our website calendar or our weekly newsletter to find out more and get the sign-up links to all of our events. And always feel free to email us at info@columbiacsl.com for more information. Oh yeah, heads up. Our next Science of Mind course, Spiritual Economics with Dr. Nadene, begins September 9th. So mark your calendars. All right. And now, we consciously engage in spiritual practice together. We invite you to settle in. Center yourself in this moment and find that still place within where spirit is all there is. We will have a contemplative reading by Dorcas Austin, and then a guided meditation and affirmative prayer by licensed practitioner Reggie Cole.
Good morning. We Need Each Other is the title of today's reading, written by Reverend Dr. Ron Fox and presented in this month's Science of Mind magazine daily guide. Meister Eckhart asked us to consider this: I need to love all persons as myself, esteeming them and considering them alike. What happens to another, whether it be joy or sorrow, happens to me. St. Augustine talks about how we all marvel at mountains, waves, the ocean, and stars, and yet we pass by one another without the least bit of wonder. The fact is, you and I are the greatest creation of all. The biggest problem we create in our relationships is when we see separation. We isolate ourselves. Jesus challenged us to see divinity in all people, and seeing that, to treat them with love, honor, and respect. Babies crave human contact. Even when they are fed and changed regularly, if they are not held and given human contact, they will atrophy, waste away, and die. Mother Teresa told of visiting an orphanage where nurses tended to the physical needs of the children, but were too busy to cuddle them. One child's muscles were rigid and unresponsive. Mother Teresa held them, talked to them, and within minutes he relaxed and was better. Our ego insists we are separate from others. Wayne Dyer said, when we see ourselves connected to one another, we stop judging ourselves. We see ourselves connected to the same life force. When that happens, compassion becomes automatic. As the poet John Donne wrote, no man is an island, entire of itself. Every man is a piece of the whole continent, a part of the main. Those words remind us how we all need each other. Now, as we move into meditation, please affirm with me. Today, I release all thoughts of separation. I remember I am one with all of God's creation. I open my heart and let go of judgments. And so it is. Namaste.
And so it is. Namaste. Thank you so much, Dorcas. As we contemplate the affirmation, let's shift our attention to our heart space. Close your eyes if you're comfortable with that. And let's recognize this feeling of oneness, our connection to all there is. I know it as unconditional love. I know that there is never any separation, not from me and my source, not from me and anyone, any human, any life. We're all one. I invite you to just deeply feel that, deeply feel the oneness. Just be here right now and let everything else fall away. How powerful it is to know this connection, to feel this connection. To feel the truth that we are all one. Allow that feeling to spread from your heart space throughout your entire being. This is the essence of you. the essence of love and light that you are. This is what you bring to the world. So bring it in everything you say and do. Spread your love and your light. I know that our actions affect everyone around us in magnificent ways. So simply allow yourself the grace to shine. One heart, one mind, one life. So grounded in this feeling of oneness, please know with me that there is an essence of life that is absolutely everywhere present and everywhere active. It is all knowing and all loving and all powerful. And this thing that I call God or spirit is all there is. It is everything seen and unseen, everything known and unknown. How beautiful it is to recognize this truth. And I know that this truth resides in me and in each one of us. It is all that we are. We are connected inextricably to each other in, as, and through spirit. And so from this place of connectedness, I speak this word, knowing that peace is present here and now, infinite and eternal. That no matter what the outer circumstances may appear, this life is filled with unlimited potential of expressions of love and beauty and light and peace. And I drink that in. And I know that this service is blessed and is a blessing. Every heart and hand involved in this service brings us a greater consciousness of love, of light, of peace. We are uplifted and open to greater wisdom and compassion. And I know that each one of us can transcend any experience that no longer serves us. And so I am filled with gratitude for this service, this community, and the opportunity to speak this world for a greater unfoldment of life. We have named it and we have claimed it, and so I release this word into the universe, knowing that as I do so with faith and conviction, Spirit says yes. We simply let go and let God and allow it to be so, and so it is.
And so it is. Reggie, Dorcas, that was delicious. Thank you for this beautiful time of spiritual practice. In this spiritual community, our practitioners and ministers are eager to know the truth with you. Feel free to email your requests for prayer or counseling to prayer@columbiacsl.com, and we will hold your truth in prayer throughout the week. And now, it's my pleasure to introduce to you again Leah Morris singing the song, Safe to Let Go.
Now, in the twinkle of an eye, in the flicker of a daydream, you find yourself floating out in the midst of molten light. Despite the doubt and fear, knowing you'll be safe, safe to float, safe to fly, safe to let go. How, in the midst of blatant lies, in the mystery before us, can we find ourselves reaching out, reaching in to find what's right, and despite what's brought us here, knowing we are safe, safe to know it's time to fly, but we'll have to let go. It's okay not to know, it's okay not to know.
show up at your best. You're perfect as you are, perfect as you are, and let go. It's okay not to know. It's okay not to know what comes next. To show up at your best. You're perfect as you are, perfect as you are. Let go. Let go.
And now, it's my pleasure to introduce our interim senior minister, Reverend Dr. Nadene Rogers, with today's talk entitled, You Are a Spiritual Broadcasting Station. Reverend Nadine.
Hello, thank you so much. Well, welcome, Columbia CSL. It's been a beautiful, peaceful entry into this day. I really so much appreciate it. You know, we're all coming together to remember who and whose we are, and I'm really happy to be with you. You know, our organization, Centers for Spiritual Living, its leadership, its affiliate member centers, its spiritual leaders, its ministers and practitioners and laity members, all see a world in which each and every person lives in alignment with his or her highest spiritual values, emphasizing unity with God and connection with each other. A world in which individuality and collectively we are called to a higher state of consciousness and action. I think here at Columbia, we certainly know this among ourselves. We strive to assist individuals in their own evolutionary awakening process as we encourage others by our own word and action to lift and live courageous, fearless lives and to be passionate about life and its possibilities. So today I'm going to continue on our monthly theme with CSL called A Pause for Guidance. Last week I spoke about to me, by me, through me, and as me, based on the model that Dr. Michael Beckwith designed to help us understand the process of our spiritual maturity or our human evolution. So today we're talking about you are a spiritual broadcasting station. So hopefully we can come through this message with a little more clarity in how we can be a conduit or a channel for the fullness of divine expression. So I think, we're always looking for ways to pull ourselves together to get harmony and balance in life. And so I thought this was kind of a cool title. You know, it's time to defrag our bandwidth and up our amps. Because really, whatever name you call it, it's all energy. And therefore, we are that energy, which is complete within itself and known as formed and unformed, both static and always moving. So let's explore how to perceive ourselves and life in a way that not only helps us to emit our frequency congruently and powerfully, but that allows us to lean into the utter mystery of who and what we are. So I further submit that this process might have something to do with cleaning up our story about how our lives have unfolded to create who we are, pulling all the fragmented pieces together For example, of how this can be done, I want to share the Bible, the story of the Bible, in just simply 50 words. Are you ready? God made, Adam bit, Noah arked, Abraham split. Joseph ruled, Jacob fooled, Bush talked, Moses balked. Pharaoh plagued, people walked, sea divided, tablet guided. Promised landed, Saul freaked, David peaked, God walked, love talked, anger crucified, hope died, love rose, spirit flamed, work spread, God remained. And to give it that grand finish in metaphysical terms, God is, I am, it is, and so it is. So how long is your story? Imagine for a moment you want to play a card game that requires an entire deck of cards. Now, before you can play the game, you have to retrieve the deck from wherever it might be. If the cards are spread all over a room, the time needed to gather them together and put them in order would be much greater than if they were sitting on the table nicely organized. A deck of cards spread all over a room can be thought of as a fragmented deck of cards, much like the fragmented data on a hard drive that, when gathered together, defragmented, might equal a file you want to open or a process from a particular software program. We are not always tuned into the motherboard. Would you agree? And when we are and we do receive what we feel is a clear message from spirit, we often autocorrect, meaning we merely extract from unlimited possibility what we can accept. And we can only accept that which corresponds to who we believe we are, human beings who are often seeking to be connected and receive comfort from that which knows. So, this is the first premise I see we need to address to defrag our bandwidth, affirming our connection as the point of God consciousness. Ernest Holmes has said, there is a power for good in the universe, and we can use it. There is a power for good, a universal power, and I let it use and express through me is a little bit different. And perceived in this manner, it affirms the presence of Source working through us, rather than I, the individual, trying to get me some of that good. The truth is that the power of good is expressing itself all the time, as the highest and best of itself in exact proportion as to our belief about who we are and what life can be by means of us. So no matter what we think about ourselves, however, the full power and presence is moving and expressing in us and through us all the time. Nothing we can think or do can ever alter the infinite intelligence, that universal creative power from creating out of itself more of itself. And we don't have to earn or deserve this power for good working in our lives. Even when we are not conscious of this power and presence, it's still here, or we wouldn't be. We need to align our minds with the truth of our nature of being. I think the truth of the nature of all being, and allow this good to flow through us, procuring abundance of all good in our lives. And this is how we allow the power for good to use us. We are simply a channel that needs to be tuned in to the frequency of the mother of all broadcasting stations in order for us to defrag our bandwidth and up our amps. Have you ever said, my brain hurts when trying to grasp a new concept? I go through it all the time with technology. It's funny I'm talking about it. But like computer technology or math or politics, something, or perhaps it's an unexpected announcement, like a sudden death of a friend that you will not accept in that moment. And you may have even said, I can't get my mind around it. I think this is what often happens in our day-to-day lives and relationships, our jobs, daily news within the environment of interests we hold. It also happens when we are asked to let go of who we believe we are and our present life conditions as true, and see ourselves as whole, complete, and perfect, just the way we are. Think about that for a moment. Think about how much resistance comes up when someone says to you, you are whole, complete, and perfect, just the way you are. Because we are nothing less than spiritual beings with the same unlimited creative intelligence, the same power and presence to bring into manifest reality anything we so desire and choose. I just can't get my mind around that. Isn't this then our work? At the root of the root, this is our work. So to build the circuitry, we need faith in the universal creative process, which is the sacred trinity of co-creation through the universal natural law of cause and effect, trusting that all we need is sourced inside. To clear the bandwidth, we must develop focus, recenter on truth as many times as may be required. And to up our amps or attain the greatest reach, the purest message, we need to develop the chops to speak with authority on who we are and what makes up life's meaning for us. Now, there are those who look to God to do it for them. Those who look to themselves as responsible for creating their reality, and those who carry an and both philosophy here, who align with both the spiritual principles and natural laws, and have faith that the universal creative process, inspired by love and made manifest through law, will procure divine right action. They do their work and bow to the mystery. So I've just shared with you 3 different mindsets. Now, the most common in my mind, but in the great mystery, there are many in between, is being reliant upon ourselves, solely taking upon all the responsibility, and therefore not open to the infinite mind or divine guidance. I think most people that come into a metaphysical teaching or a part of the CSL communities really get, at least intellectually, they are not separate from God. But they may allow the mystery and the universal process by means of how we choose to direct our thought, words, and actions not be front and center. So the divine plan, which we often hear spoken about, oh, God's got a divine plan, and divine right action are not the same thing. So the divine plan is the mysterious predestined path that God has created for humankind's exploration and discovery of the nature of being. That's what we as metaphysicians believe the divine plan is. It isn't how would I say this, written in time, space, or specifics. It's simply a predestined path created for humankind to explore and discover the nature of being, the nature of their own being. Now, divine right action is the corresponding response of universal law to the impress of our thought and desire of who we choose to be. They work so beautifully together. Many faith traditions believe that God is separate from humanity and does as he wishes without the creative assistance of any of his creatures, while the tribal person assumes a place in creation that is dynamic, creative, and responsive. For the Native American Indian, the ability of all creatures to share in the process of ongoing creation makes things sacred. God is all, and everything already exists. So what are we going to be with this knowledge? As metaphysicians, we too understand that we are co-creators of our reality and shifters of the collective consciousness as the sacred complement to universal cause, by both thinking with the one mind and by being the conduit through which the matter is created. I'm going to repeat that. As metaphysicians, we too understand that we are co-creators of our reality and shifters of the collective consciousness as the sacred complement to universal cause by both thinking with the one mind and being the conduit through which matter is created. I'm going to share a story with you now to illustrate our unity through the frequencies we emit. When a matriarch elephant speaks her messages, she reaches more than her tribe. Many others receive the messages through their feet. Scientists call this seismic communication. Vocal cords 8 times the size of ours send out 2 frequencies at the same time, high and low, moving through the earth 5 or 6 miles. The ground vibrations travel through the skeleton, and feeling becomes hearing. A researcher from Stanford U buried speakers above the ground and in the ground. Even an elephant's footsteps provide useful information about its size and its whereabouts. If you know how to listen, this dramatic landscape hums with signals, and the web of sound holds a whole community together. It's kind of like us. We omit a low frequency of our ego mind and a higher frequency of our natural knowingness at the same time. So like the elephants, our ego, when the expression of our deeper subconscious is limited in our belief patterns, sends a message into race consciousness that sounds the alert or the alarm, attracting to it a similar energetic vibration. And at the same time, our above ground sounding, the vibrational frequency which changes others' lives through love, respect, honor, and compassion, also draws to us through the laws of compensation and attraction, affirmation of our true nature of being. So here we see that not only are we a spiritual broadcasting station, but that the results of which are always demonstrating our oneness, whether we like it or not, agree or not. I read something a couple of weeks ago. I really like this illustration. And it's about a professor who tried to illustrate particle wave duality with the following example. He said, imagine you are a 2D, so 2-dimensional being living on a white canvas. So just close your eyes for a moment. Just picture that, white canvas, and you are the 2-dimensional being. Now imagine a lipstick of a cylindrical shape is placed on an overhead projector. If you place it on the projection plane, standing up, comme ça, the projection will be a circle. If this image were to be projected on your canvas, the 2-dimensional beings would say the thing causing this image must be a circle. On the other hand, if the lipstick is placed on the projection plane laying down, the projected image would be a rectangle. So our 2D friends would doubtlessly say, whatever causes this thing must be of a rectangular shape. So it cannot possibly be the same object that caused the circular image. Now, what our 2D friends fail to understand with their 2-dimensional brains is that the lipstick is neither a circle or a rectangle, but something so much more complex, their 2-dimensional minds have no chance of comprehending. A 3-dimensional object. We are multi-dimensional beings. And Dr. Ernest Holmes said, we begin to disclaim what we appear to be and affirm what we know ourselves to actually be, as our statements dissolve wrong, subjective tendencies, providing in their place a correct concept of life and reality. We will automatically be lifted out of our failure Impelling forces sweeping everything before them will set us free, even when we trust in spirit and accept the workings of the law. So if actions speak louder than words, then what speaks louder than actions? Our thoughts. And what speaks louder than our thoughts? Our energetic presence. Does it flow in the universe in the evolution of its becoming, or is it rendered to a static state? So why does fragmentation take place? And how can we learn to both live with what is and create new ways of thinking and being appreciatively? Well, if you know anything about file systems in general, which I will relate to as our subconscious belief patterns, you may have already guessed that the file system was the culprit in this fragmentation business. But why? Well, fragments happen when the file system, our self-image, allows gaps to develop between the different pieces of a file, our story. Sometimes fragmentation happens because the file system reserved way too much space for the file when it was first created and had an expectation of the same story continuing into our future and therefore left open areas around it, innately knowing that we were born unlimited potential, but just didn't live into it for one reason or another. Now, previously deleted files, which we can call denials or suppressed feelings, are also another reason the file system fragments data when written. When a file is removed, its previously occupied space is now open for new files to be saved to it, new thoughts leaning into the truth of who we are. So as you can imagine, if that now open space isn't large enough to support the whole size of the new file, then only a part of it can be saved. Old limited belief patterns neutralizing new conscious thoughts. The rest must be positioned somewhere else, hopefully nearby, but not always. Having some pieces of a file in one place while the others are located elsewhere is going to require the hard drive to look through the gaps or spaces occupied by the other files, new affirming conscious thoughts of who and whose we are, until it can gather all the necessary pieces to bring the file together for you. Ergo, the need to pause for guidance, to be still, to contemplate, to meditate, so as not to blow a fuse, to allow your faith in divine order to do its thing. So while it's frustrating that fragmentation exists, which slows the computer down a little bit, you might think about it as necessary in a sense. This small problem instead of a much larger one. Just embrace both our humanity daily as a given and our growing capacity of exploring and authentically expressing who we are becoming as each of us opens to reveal and discover our innate potential. Sometimes when I want to lose my mind and it just zone out, I watch reruns of America and Britain's Got Talent. And I did so, a couple of days ago. I cried my way through it. Why? Well, for the unrealized dream of becoming all that I desired to be. And the real tears were not about an unrealized dream, really, but about the memory of not being supported by those who professed to love me, not being heard or seen or valued. The reality is that the dream as a young child was created as an escape from terror and a deep need to feel special and worthy. I look back over my life and see it clearly as I do my life now, and I know that without a shadow of a doubt, that I am right where I am meant to be. Why? Because divine right action is taking place as a result of both my high and low frequencies, and that my deepest desires to move and touch and support and inspire others to live full out and enjoy have been being expressed all the way along. We are spiritual broadcasting stations, and we do live out loud, even those of us who claim to be introverted, and even when we touch in or dig deeply into the dark night of the soul. For that mystery to us, the parts of our becoming that hold within them the blueprint of this universe are ever rising up to meet us in God's timing, as we continue our conscious work to defrag our vision of ourselves and expand our bandwidth and up our amps. I know this to be true for me, and I also know it to be true for you. God bless, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Dr. Nadene, for that inspiring talk. You can talk directly with Dr. Nadene after service this morning on Zoom at today's After Chat. You can find the link in our newsletter or on our website calendar. If you've joined us before, it's the same link. And please, join us next week in person at the Hawthorne Center as Reverend Jim Webb continues this month's theme, A Pause for Guidance, with his talk entitled, Ask Your GPS, God Positioning System. Now, we're going to have one last song from Leah Morris as she sings Becoming Me. Sing, Leah.
Who I am today will not be who I am tomorrow, and who I am tomorrow will keep changing every day. And all the things I learned might fill my heart with joy or sorrow, and everything I learned might make me want to change my ways. Oh, there is nothing, no thing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing, one thing that life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows what path their life will take, and no one knows what I will see as I keep becoming me. The family you were raised in does not dictate who you marry, and the country you were born in won't decide where you are buried, and all you once believed might leave you stranded on an island where the only way back home is to abandon it as lies. And there is nothing, no thing that ever stays the same. That is the one thing, one thing that life does guarantee. There is no one on earth, no one who knows where their life will lead, what path their life will take, and no one knows what I will see as I keep becoming me, becoming me. I must stay open to the change, curious and free, and always ready to
what course their life will take, and no one knows who I will be as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming me, as I keep becoming.
Wow. Becoming me. How Spirit puts things together. Thank you, Leah, for that beautiful gift. You can follow Leah on Facebook at This Is Leah for more opportunity to hear fabulous, uplifting music. So, now it's time for our conscious giving. We have just received, and now we can participate in the law of circulation by giving back. I invite you to invoke feelings of love and gratitude and abundance, allowing them to fill you and the space around you. And now, let's use the power of our word by speaking our prosperity affirmation together. I know that the infinite abundance of the universe blesses and multiplies this offering. And so it is. We offer easy ways to donate your offering. 1, you can make a one-time or recurring donation through our website, www.columbiacsl.com. 2, you can text your donation to us at 410-498-6175. Or 3, for those who prefer, you may drop off or mail in a check to our office. We receive and appreciate your gifts and tithes, and thank you for supporting us so that we can remain a vital and thriving center in which to find your spiritual nourishment. And we know that as we give with gratitude, we receive in gratitude. Would you please join me as we bless and receive every gift bestowed upon Columbia CSL? Together, we receive these gifts knowing that they nurture and support our vision of building inclusive community through spiritual connection and help to build a world that works for everyone. And so it is. On behalf of our entire community, thank you for being a part of our spiritual family today. And we look forward to seeing you again. At the end of service, we hope you check out our announcement slides and our website calendar, www.columbiacsl.com/events, to make sure you know everything that's coming up in our community. That's where you'll find the link to sign up for the after chat with Dr. Nadene at 11 a.m. And one final reminder to join us in person at the Hawthorne Center today. So, it's now my pleasure to introduce once again Dr. Nadene to close our service with the benediction.
Oh, yes. And I believe that the actual summer celebration is at home office, not at the Hawthorne Center. Just don't want all the folks going over there. So, all right. Let's join together in affirmative prayer, also known as spiritual mind treatment, where we open our own mind to be a channel for the power of good and allow it to have its way with us. There truly is only one life, one God, one power, one creative infinite mind that connects and unites all life, because all life flows from this one mind. Every one of us, the two-leggeds, the four-leggeds, the winged, the finned, all of life, seen and unseen, animate and inanimate, is one in harmony. It is a vibration of itself of the highest frequency. And so I speak my word today for the part of me in this universe known as everyone here that has participated today. Thank you. And for all of those who are listening. Knowing that we have been born and we are comfortable in this idea of flow, of harmony, of gratitude, of receptivity, and of an ever expanding consciousness of acceptance. As we know that this life is for us and not against us. As we know that the world does not owe us anything, but the universe does. We continue to practice doing what is ours to do, leading by love and manifesting through the law of our belief system. We are the co-creators of our reality. We have been gifted and sourced with a beautiful, powerful, creative intelligence right where we are at all times. And so today, I just say yes to that and amen. And so it is.
Take a look at the person next to you and say, God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, we come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every walk of life, every creed and color, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come